welcome to The Dead Life. Here's world-renowned medium, Alison Dubois.
Welcome to The Dead Life. I'm Alison Dubois. Today we're going to talk about past life regression. What is past life regression? It's a guided hypnotic process that helps people access memories and experiences from previous lifetimes, offering insight that influence present-day challenges. Jonathan Robinson specializes in past life regression, hypnotherapy, and custom hypnotherapy sessions, guiding clients through deep subconscious exploration to release trauma, gain clarity, and experience profound transformation, whether uncovering past lives, breaking through limiting beliefs, or creating new patterns for success. His approach helps clients reconnect with their true essence, heal unresolved emotions, and step into their fullest potential. Jonathan is here today. You're going to want to hear how past lives can affect you in your present life. You can follow me on Instagram at Medium Allison, on my Facebook fan page, or you can binge on my YouTube videos. You can watch every episode of The Dead Life on YouTube, or you can listen to me on Apple, Spotify, or AlisonDubois.com. For reading information, email booking@AlisonDubois.com. And if you're looking to manifest money or love, you can get a bottle of Divination 22 vodka at BigThirst.com or Divination22.com to give your intention setting a boost. It's also available in Scottsdale at One Handsome Bastard. Well, Jonathan, thanks for being here today.
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
I'm wondering, are there people that find their past life with you that they go, oh my God, that's not cool enough, I want something different, that are disappointed with their past life? Or are people generally happy with what they find as a previous life?
Yeah, expectations can be a block. So after I go over their
so
questions, I say, let's just open mind, whatever happens.
They don't run an agenda on you.
The one guy who told me he was Jesus and Napoleon didn't show up for a session, so we'll never know about that one. But
he's busy leading. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of times I don't call anyone mundane life anymore, though, because there's so many lessons to learn as a farmer, indigenous tribe member, just a worker, being a parent.
Right.
A busy businessman, a very successful entrepreneur, went into a past life as like on the farm, just being a housewife. And he said he loved it. He said he was so happy. He was finally at a family because he doesn't have that in this life. So it has a unique way of showing you exactly what you need to see.
So do you think the guy who was Jesus and Napoleon, do people cast like what they want their life to be? Do you think he came in with that agenda because he needed to be important to support his ego? Like, how do you tell the difference when somebody's manufacturing it versus they're being, on the up and up with you?
Sure, yeah. Well, I never did a session with him because I think his ego got in the way, and if he was found out that it was anything different than his ego, he wouldn't have been, it would have changed things. So he didn't show up. And some people say, what if they're just making it up, Jonathan? And I say, okay, so thousands of people have came to me and they've all just paid me money and made up and just to lie to me into this big scam.
Right.
So no, it's yeah.
Well, and on
so
top
how do you know
of
the
that,
difference?
I was just going to say, dovetailing off into what you were saying, we don't have to show proof. Not everybody, believers, no proof is required. For non-believers, no amount of proof will ever be enough. Like, I'm paraphrasing a famous quote by like Stuart Chase or somebody like that. So
I love that.
Yeah, so that's how I try and live. And when I met you at Sean Mike Kelly's podcast in Vegas, that's where we met. And when I was like, you should come on my show, he had a skeptic across the hall that was like, I'll show you where he's at, who then, and I don't know if your friend told you about this, but he then tried to confront me for being a medium. And he was like, there are skeptics who say this and that, and there's the $1 million challenge. And he's like, you should take the $1 million challenge if you really believe in it. Like, I've been around longer than him. I know what that means. And I said, James Randi is a cynic, not a skeptic. He's a cynic. And he was the judge, jury, and executioner holding this $1 million challenge where he could change the rules during the game. So, I mean, nobody was ever going to get that money. Let's just say that. And I just looked at him and I said, I made enough money off my show. And he did not know what to say to that. And he's like, well, don't you want to help people? And I said, I help people every day, and I have for 25 years. So yeah, there's that. Why don't you go help people, But they try and bait you into these things. And I became so secure in what I know to be true in spirituality and connecting with the dead, and that they're more alive than we are. That's what they always tell me. We're the dead ones. And I've seen so much and experienced so much that I'm just at peace with cynics, and I'm not trying to change their minds. They don't have to believe. They'll die. They'll find out. They'll come back. I don't care. So if you deal with that as well, I was just going to say, they don't know what to say when you're like, nope, I'm good. When they try and present you with challenges, it's like, why do I owe you my gift to prove something to you that I already know is real?
Right, yeah. I love that. And what is it? The truth doesn't mind being questioned, but the lies hate to be challenged is another good one. I have some people say, hypnosis is fake. I say, well, Ericksonian or Mesmer? And they're like, what? I'm like,
yeah.
Those are, have you researched? Like, a lot of
Right.
times we have these association or paradigms, and we make up these choices when we're young, but when we're a kid, we're in theta frequency from 0 to age 8. That's why kids can also remember their past lives. So they're learning everything brand new.
Right.
As an adult, it's like we have a shield up because we got made fun of, and we don't want to go outside the lines because what if we're wrong? And so we're not as open-minded, unfortunately. And so I hope this not only helps people alleviate the fear of death, but also gives them a deeper meaning to their purpose in life. And you're right. I'm past the point of trying to justify this or
prove it to me just because.
Yeah, and
I mean, we have to be past that. They suck your energy. They're like energy vampires.
A better question, instead of is past life regression real, it should be, does it change lives? And the answer is yes, because it doesn't matter if it's a metaphor, a dreamscape, or a memory. Right. What matters is you get the healing from the session. So I've done these with Christians, all different cultures. Yes. As long as you're open-minded, you'll get the healing you deserve.
If it helps people, skeptics should applaud it, because skeptics care about people healing. We all know that. I'm just kidding. They don't care. It's like they purport to care, but they really, if you're helping people, right. If you're helping people through your methods, that is a positive thing, and it should be up to that person to decide the value of it, not the rest of the world. Sometimes we get a peanut gallery that has to put in their 2 cents. And it's just not something that we are obligated to accept. And so I've been very good with my borders and boundaries when it comes to other people. Pretty much fought skeptics, not fought, but had to rebut them on television for 25 years. And I think I've got it down.
I love that, because you paved the way. I'm 37, but I talk about it as like a matter of fact almost now, maybe not at the grocery store, but you've been through a lot more than we have, my generation of waking people up. So thank you so much. And anyone can be a critic, anyone can break something, but healing, empowering, growing, that takes skill, that takes intention and nurturing. So these, anyone can say their opinion about whatever. But I will add to that, as long as no one's scamming someone. And
Agreed.
with mentalism, they used, any industry has about 1% of people that suck and will take
Sure.
advantage of people that are susceptible. So
Yes.
that's in used car salesmen, politics, lawyers, mediums,
Teachers, priests. Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
you could look
So they do
anywhere.
it with Yep, they do it with mediums. They do it with psychics. I've seen the mentalist, a lot of mentalists that claim that they are, that aren't. I think those guys should get out of here, because what you do is real magic. What they're doing is tricks.
It's why they don't like mediums. It's why they have such a disdain for us, because they're so arrogant that for us to have something that they don't themselves hold and can't do seems to anger them. And I've toured the world, so I've had the men show up at my events, and I've had a couple of the women skeptics show up where they try and shout you down. Now, the beauty is that I'm really good at shutting people down and making people laugh at the same time. So with my audiences, it was easy. But also having a very large security guard is very helpful at book signings. So it's like you got to say what you felt like you needed to say so you can go back to your club and tell them you interacted with me. Be gone. And so I took it on the chin for, yes, a long time, but I always said you don't break a glass ceiling without getting cut. And I just hoped that for the people coming after me that it would be somehow easier for you to navigate it. But there's always going to be low vibrational people out there that, and arrogance is always a part of it. They think they're smarter than everyone else and they know better for you what you need than what you could possibly know. So it has been an interesting ride, but it's nothing that should ever stop anybody that is in the ethereal world. You have to be tough to do what we do publicly and be a public figure. People always asked me in the beginning, why do you think you were the one that got the show? Why do you think you were sort of chosen for this role? And I said, because I have such conviction in me and strength that I'm okay with being mistreated on my way through, on my journey to understand the other side. And if that's what I have to do to open minds, it's all worth it. And somebody that was a little weaker probably would have said, I'm not doing this, because they'd be too worried about how they'd be treated. And I wasn't worried about that. I'd already been through a difficult, childhood. So for me, I'm like, well, this is way easier. I don't even know these people. All good. So I think it was the outlook that I had, but it's not easy being a public figure. Now, even you on Instagram and a lot of, the people that are doing the good work, your public figures out there, your face is out there, your name, the work that you do. And you just got to own it and be very proud that that is the path you were born to walk, and never tilt your head down to the people who are naysayers ever.
Yeah, and never underestimate a spiritual healer, because we all have one thing in common, and that's the healing journey. And that is, we've been challenged with disease or discomfort or challenges throughout our life. We found a way to overcome it. Typically, Western medicine failed us, and now we want to share those secrets with the world. So I never underestimate any spiritual healer nowadays. However, I have found that some of them aren't all the way healed yet. So those ones, and we all have a spectrum of where we are, but
don't you think that's with psychologists? Don't you think that's with psychologists and psychiatrists too, though? Wounded people will be attracted to being an authority figure in healing.
Yeah.
And often they can heal themselves while healing other people. So that as long as they don't project their problems onto their clients, and that is a huge mistake, and make it about themselves, then they can be effective being able to relate to them as long as they don't project.
Yep, absolutely. And I think all therapists and psychotherapists should learn hypnotherapy and do it at the end of their and call it a meditation, because I do a few sessions, and I get transformational results they do sessions for years or months and they don't get anywhere. So it's they need to take a second look at what they're doing and incorporate more. And a lot of my clients do go to therapy regularly, but they'll go to a few sessions with me and they'll see those transformations. So if it's not working, try something new.
Good advice. It's good advice. And my friend Tom McMullen, who's an astrologer, people come to him and say, you did what people couldn't do. My therapist couldn't do in 10 years. I've heard the same thing. You've heard the same thing. We're doing the good work. So, that's something that people need to weigh when they're trying to find their belief system, when they're trying to figure out what that looks like for them. It's okay to have faith in something higher than us, that there's a higher power, that there's energy at work around us, that there are these forces guiding us. And to me, it's a no-brainer. It's the most natural thing in the world. But to some people, because they're so deeply embedded in the physical world that they can't feel the spirituality stirring in them, they ignore it. They won't see the intuition. They dismiss it. And if you do that to be right and to protect yourself, you're never going to grow. So I think the growth, the spiritual growth that you're talking about, it's mandatory for people to go within in order to attain that. And your process is a great way to do that.
Yeah. We have the ability to empower ourselves, to heal ourselves. I don't heal anyone. I hold space for them to empower themselves for what they're doing. And even with pharmaceuticals, the placebo effect is so much more powerful than a lot of these things. So, and if you think about the mind, the mind is it's so vast. And if the placebo effect can work, hypnotherapy can help with emotional, spiritual, energetic things. I will tell this one story. It kind of relates because I had this one lady who was 500 pounds and she tried everything. She tried juice pills, all the stuff. The doctors could not figure it out. It was emotional. And a lot of weight over 50 pounds is emotional. However, she went into a past life as the most beautiful woman 500 years ago, a king's servant, a concubine of the king. She was so beautiful and pretty that men and women adored her. And she was serving the king, and she was having a happy life. Everything was okay. But one day the bad king poisoned the good king and cast a shadow over the entire palace. He mistreated all the women, but picked on her the most because she was so stunningly beautiful. However, this was like torture for her, so she started eating compulsively because she felt if she had that layer, it would protect her, and if she wasn't as pretty, he wouldn't pick her as much. That vow of her never being beautiful again carried over to multiple lifetimes, and after she found it out, she lost a few 100 pounds.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. Yeah. And that isn't unusual for people who are molested or raped in childhood or in their young years to put on weight so that they're not attractive to try and protect themselves, which is really sad. That's
I found that a lot. Yeah.
But the fact that you were able to help her with that's such a big deal. I hope you go out and have a swank dinner every time you really unlock somebody's life and purpose and you're able to help them. It's important to reward yourself spiritually, just to say good job, because we don't have pensions and things like that to look forward to. We don't get the award at like the steak dinner once a year for our company. So make sure to be good to yourself as well and give yourself grace, because you're navigating problems as a career, as do I, and it can take a toll on you. So in the shower, I've always told my listeners, down the drain, away from me. And you say it 3 times and you visualize everything attached to you, whether it's from a hospital that you went to visit, and it's the illness, the cancer, the death, the sadness, going down the drain away from you. And you can do that with the readings you do and letting go of their pain. as well as people that you find sort of leave their energy on you and you don't really like it. And you just visualize them going down a long pipe off into the darkness until you can no longer see them. I'm telling you, this works. I had an amazing earth magic practitioner, Margaret Jameson, on. She's third generation granny magic, like Appalachian granny. And it's one of the practices of threes in magic or in spirituality is always going to be important because of the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And so 3 has been important for a very long time, as that is part of the basis, the root of where it came from. I didn't know if you knew that, but I wanted to share that with you. And I hope you do the down the drain away from me exercise, because it really does help people to let go of energy that has attached to them that doesn't serve them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I will do that. I do some clearing stuff. I do Reiki as well, so I incorporate that, and that's a good one. If y'all haven't tried that yet, try a Reiki session. Do half massage, half Reiki if you don't want to do a whole session. But I felt more like myself when I was 26. I didn't have any direction in my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to do something important, but I didn't know what. And I went to the doctor, and he checked my blood like I was a car engine. He said, "Oh, you're fine. Go home." And I was like, well, I still don't feel good. So I got Reiki, and I felt so much more like myself. My throat opened up. I made sales that I never had before. I felt more like I just felt so changed from one session where she didn't even touch me. That was cool for me, and that's why I pursued it more.
I'm going to go book a Reiki session. That sounds like a good idea. I haven't had that done in 20 years. And I felt really bad, and I warned them before for a massage. I'll warn them before they put their hands on me, because I know they are sensitives, because I dealt with so much murder and suicide, because I'm a trauma specialist as a medium. I'm the one that, people who died in 9/11, people who go down in planes, like the murder, suicides. And so I warn them, because I don't know how that affects somebody who does Reiki to put their hands on me to try and get rid of something that dark. So I always worried about the Reiki person more than myself. So I just never went back to do it. I was trying to be
someone
kind.
you trust. Get someone that maybe knows you.
Yeah, I'll do that. I think all spiritualists have to let go of what we collect from our clients, and we deserve to live happy lives that are free from all of the issues and dark energy that we collect through a lifetime. So what do you have coming up? Where can people find you?
Yeah, most people find me on my Instagram, Journeys into Past Lives. So Journeys into Past Lives, there's underscores, but it should pop up pretty quick.
Journeys _ into _ past _ lives.
That's right.
That's
You can download so I do one-on-one sessions with people from all over the world. I have a lot of content, spiritual content on there. My website, journeysintopastlives.com, my app is coming out. I'm really excited about that.
It's exciting.
Called Journeys into the Subconscious. So it'll have custom journeys. It'll have my own recordings with my voice, some breath work, past life as well. And what I've realized is I help people from all over the world, but sometimes they can't afford it, or maybe they don't want to do it yet, or they're not ready. So I figured if I have this app, one, I can do my daily hypnosis, because I do daily hypnosis on myself, get to that theta frequency, get the reset, just like a meditation. But it's easier because there's a voice guiding you. Your brain doesn't go off into the thoughts that are in your head. So
I love that.
The app's coming out. Yeah. Yep.
Well, you'll have to come back when the app comes out and let people know about that, and where they can download it from and all of that, and the features that you have, because that would be really cool for people to be able to just do it at home by downloading the app and have that kind of ease added into their life. Have you, I know you're young, but have you seen Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve and Jane
Oh
Seymour?
yeah, yeah. Because that's from Michigan. It was
Right.
Mackinac.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go there. And I'm friends with Steven Simon, who directed that whole movie. And he told me he'd book me a room there if I ever want to go. So I'm going to have to take him up on
Oh,
that because he's got pull there. But
wow.
when you were talking, I just kept seeing a t shirt that said, "Come back to me," and then had your name on it, like quoting Elise McKenna, "Come back to me," when she hands him the watch. Because you're doing past life regression. Come back to me, like to your past life, you know? It just popped in my head. I thought it was kind of cool. But you should have merch.
Love that movie. In that movie, they have every year they have a 1900s party where
Yes,
you can't bring anything that was made past 100 years ago, and yeah, it's pretty cool. You
I
would
love
I
that.
hope you have earplugs for Ghosts though if you go there because it's there's some history there.
I just, but I'm actually not afraid of that. I already went to the haunted places in Jerome, Arizona that everyone's like, "Oh, it's so haunted." And I came in, I'm like, "Okay, I'm here. Like, what do you have to say? What's up? Let's talk. Let's get it out of the way." And they ignored me for 3 days. 3 days. Like, I'm walking around the medical equipment and I'm staying in the old hospital, and I'm thinking, come on, come on. And I think I annoyed them because I wasn't afraid of them. So I went to leave with my family, and those are old doors. Those are the original doors still. So at least early 1900s style door. And I just said, I looked at my daughter and I said, "I guess the ghosts aren't quite as good as they say they are." And the door to our room behind me just slammed, almost like saying, "Get the hell out of our building." They did not like that I wasn't afraid of them and that I was talking to them so casually. And they definitely made their presence known in that moment. And I was like, oh, I was like, I think I upset them.
Whoa.
So so for me, going to haunted places, I've never really had a problem with that because I sat in courtrooms with the prosecution on capital crimes as a jury consultant for the prosecution to tell them when they were losing the jury that we assembled to try and get often a death penalty if it was proven that they raped, tortured, and murdered their victim. And so I found the living much more frightening than the dead because I sat in courtrooms with people who did unspeakable things to women and children, torturous things. So for me, I am not really afraid of the ghosts. I I've sat in courtrooms with people licking their lips that had, raped, tortured, and murdered, and they're looking at me in the courtroom trying to intimidate me. So I've been in those positions.
Mm, hmm.
Fortunately, we did get justice in those cases, and those people will never get out. Uh, However, I've just not found a place that I couldn't deal with it. I do not like insane asylums. I don't know if I'd go to one of those where they used to do electric shock on people and that sort of torturous treatment. I don't think I could go there, and I couldn't go to Auschwitz.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a session with the lady. She went to a past life in Auschwitz before. You know, that's a good point, though. So this people in our life now are more scary than ghosts and stuff. And for some people who have a lot of trauma, maybe some challenging situations. I had this one lady. She said before the session that living her life the way she was living it was more scary than doing this session that was unknown. And
Right.
after the session, she was able to release so much. She just felt so much better. So, we automatically fear the unknown.
Hmm.
Hypnosis is a guided meditation. I'll send you some recordings before the session. I do it every day. There's no mystery to it. However, if you are scared of it, don't watch the media because they use that every day against us. I'm using this app to help empower people to use this superpower on
Right.
yourself to give you more confidence and instill those positive beliefs. So we fear the unknown, but at one point in our life, everything was unknown. So we're comfortable in our comfort zone, but that's not where growth is.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And some people aren't afraid to die because they've already lost the love of their life, or a child, or 4 children. And death, they almost welcome it, because it couldn't, they're like, even if it was nothingness, it can't hurt the way my life hurt. And I counsel these people, and it's just hard to watch people in the physical realm who can't find or feel joy, because it's going to take a long time for them to heal through their trauma wounds. So the people that come to you that are bringing in other baggage, this life in the physical world must be palatable for them to maybe be focused, be able to take the time and have the peace of mind and energy to confront a past life issue. Because somebody in this life that's traumatized, they're not going to be thinking of it. And maybe it could be helpful for people who have gone through something traumatic in this day, or maybe it would be too much for them to deal with this life and a past life. But maybe it shows them a pattern and gives them a little bit of release of that this is something they've gotten through before. So there's just so many questions about it. You don't know, because it's a case-by-case basis, right? I mean, everybody's different. I think what you do is fascinating. I love it. And I hope that my listeners go on your website and follow you on Instagram. You share some really interesting stories on your Instagram, which I love. So I look at those every day to see what you put up. So thank you for being here and for opening our eyes to past life regression.
Yeah, thank you. And if there is anyone out there listening that wants to learn how I do this, or how to do this, I am going to have a training certification program in a few months. So you can message me about that too. But I know there's a lot of people that read the books, Dolores Cannon, Michael Noon, they want to do it themselves. And because I'm a skeptic, I didn't believe it until I started doing it myself with people. So
those are the people that are great, the greatest in any industry. Are the people that did a deep dive into researching something and then became a believer. Those are the strongest proponents of whatever field. I know a healer that was like that, and I was like that. It's why I was studied by scientists. I'm like, show me what I'm doing. Otherwise, I want to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a prosecutor. This isn't the path I want to walk. And I said, I better be amazing, because if I'm average, I'm not doing this. And I blew the minds of the scientists in the studies. And I was like, oh, God, to be a prosecutor. But I did get to work with law. So that's all good. But it is people who do the research and push themselves to understand their gift that are the strongest in their field. So well done, Jonathan. So thank you. And thank you to my listeners. Tune in next week for a fresh episode of The Dead Life. I'm Allison Dubois. This is The Dead Life. And to all of my believers out there, don't stop believing.
Join us next week on The Dead Life. And don't forget to subscribe now to get notified of every new episode.